Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the call. I'm Bart Kotter, and this is
Melissa.
definitely my better half, Melissa. We've got some exciting things to share with you tonight, and there could be different reasons why you've jumped on this call with us. I just want to tell you that if you've come here to learn about some products that are absolutely making a massive impact in people's lives, the quality of their lives, if they're dealing with some serious challenge, or whether they're looking for prevention or just a higher level of health, you're absolutely in the right place. And also, if you're here to look at a business model that is also changing people's lives in a major way, I want to tell you that you're definitely in the right place as well. We wanted to just kind of share a little bit to start with our experience and how we got involved with this business model and what it's, why we made those decisions.
So I'll start. Like most people, my working career began as an employee, and I just so happened to choose a pharmaceutical company. So I realized a couple of years in that our values weren't quite as aligned as what I was hoping. So I ended up getting quite sick and ended up being in intensive care in Sydney. And I had an integrity crisis because I was sort of touch and go. It was not a great time, and the nurses wanted to administer me with a product that I was selling in the field. And I knew that if I had been administered with it, I'd have been in serious trouble. So walked out, handed back the company car, everything, and pursued the wellness industry as a way of being in more alignment with who I am. That took me into the chiropractic industry, where I was co-founder and owner of 3 clinics up in far north Queensland. And that was brilliant, as I loved so many aspects of it, but all of a sudden I was incredibly time poor. First patient would be in at 8 a.m. and often last patient at 8 p.m. So we're running around trying to find dinner at 9 o'clock, everything was closed. And I just realized there had to be a better way. There had to be something also more fulfilling for me. So I went to university to study an MBA to look across a whole gamut of businesses to see what would work. And just before I graduated, a patient in the clinic approached me about this business model you'll learn a little bit more of tonight. It was such a perfect fit. I graduated with my MBA, dove straight into the industry, and 16 years later, our lives have been so blessed. We are incredibly fortunate to have been able to travel the world and experience life and all the magic and blessings that it has to offer. So we're excited to share that model with you tonight.
Yeah, especially the model which brings in the benefits of residual income. So just real briefly, I'm just going to share, I've been involved in the industry a little bit longer than Melissa. I was working for the United States Chamber of Commerce. They gave me this really rough territory. I had to live in Maui, Hawaii. It was a beautiful place to live, and it was great. But and I had a chance to talk with thousands of business owners before, and see what business was like. And it was amazing to see how many business owners would be just, they'd be out of business the next year. That the challenges that traditional business owners deal with, taxes, regulation, workers' comp, or superannuation, just all the regulation that's dumped on them, and the cost and risks of starting a business. And so when, and also at the time, it's very expensive to live in Hawaii, just like it's very expensive to live in Australia too, as I'm sure all of you can appreciate. And I was just trying to think, how on earth am I going to be able to not just make a living, but be able to design a life? Because I don't know about you, but I didn't want to just make a living. I wanted to be able to design a life, to be able to create some of the freedom. So like you, I had a friend that called me up and said, hey, you need to take a look at this. And I'm so grateful that he did, because the benefits of creating a residual income has just been remarkable, and no looking back, because it's about the timing. So again, thanks for joining us. We're going to just run through a few of this. And in fact, let me just change this. Okay. So what we're going to share with you tonight is a company called ASEA. Now, ASEA is being called by many, the most significant health, anti-aging, and athletic breakthrough of our lifetime. There's been millions of dollars of research, in fact, 17 years of research before ASEA even acquired this technology, and about $16 million invested into it. So let's just talk a little bit about what that actually is. First of all, ASEA is a referral-based business model. So that's the business model we're talking about. And what this business model does is it enables everyone to generate a residual income on a part-time basis. In fact, you don't even have to change anything that you're currently doing. You can do it. You can fit it right into what you're already doing with your life. Now, the company, I mentioned the company's called ASEA. You know, it's interesting. We have some friends of ours that have been involved in the early days of this company, and they called us up and said, hey, you really need to take a close look at this. We had been talked to a little bit about it, but just didn't fully understand it. I had an opportunity to fly to Salt Lake City and meet the founders, the executive team, and we were just completely blown away. This is the new home office, which is actually being built as we speak. This is a computer-generated image of the finished model, but it's well underway. It will be built and it will be fully ready to tour and at the convention that's going to be coming up in September. So these are the founders. Vertus Norton is interesting guy, very interesting guy. He comes from a corporate background, a Fortune 50. He was the vice president of strategic business development for Kraft Food. He ran a $37 billion operation. He tried to retire numerous times, and they kept begging him to come back because he was so successful at what he did. So finally, at age 68, he retired. He was invited through through Tyler Norton, a friend of Tyler, his son, had a biotech company that had a remarkable technology. He was asked to be on the board of that company because they needed some business strategy help. And Tyler, who had been taught the skills of his father, wasn't able to do that. Now, Tyler, by the way, was also in a Fortune 50, was a Fortune 50 executive in the financial industry for the last 2 decades prior to being in ASEA, and also the last previous 9 years, he was in an executive position as well. Vertus realized that he had his hands on, that this company had their hands on a very profound technology. And through a series of events, that company had some financial challenges. He was able to acquire that technology. And that's what we have today. There's a beautiful story called The Genesis of ASEA that I would encourage everybody to listen to, because it really is a beautiful, profound story of how the company began and started. Let me just share with you that they brought on, and I'm sure you can appreciate that Vertus, where he's such a strategist, that he's brought on a very experienced team. In fact, there's over 100 years of experience in the industry and also outside in traditional business. So very successful group of people. And also the Medical Advisory Board and the Science Advisory Council. We've got a lot of expertise, a lot of credibility that backs up exactly what we're doing and what we're involved with. So the company, give you just a little bit of a snapshot of where we've been and where we're going. Currently, ASEA has already done over $400 million in sales to date. This last year was nearly $90 million in 2016. Significant growth every year since the launch. In fact, they were completely debt-free in their first year. That's something that's really important, because I wanted to know that the company was sound, that it was solid. Last thing I wanted to do is to get involved with a company that was going to be here today and gone tomorrow because they weren't financially sound, or they weren't, or they were doing some things that wouldn't make for a longevity for success. And this company really does everything right. This year, sales will exceed 100 million, and this is the exciting part. We're projected to do over $1 billion in sales in the next 5 to 7 years. So when you look at that from the standpoint of timing, there is absolutely no better time to get involved than right now. In fact, ASEA is positioned ahead of all the growth that will be coming in the anti-aging, the wellness, and the athletic performance industry. Very, very exciting industries that we're involved with, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. ASEA also owns their own manufacturing facility. This is in Pleasant Grove, Utah, just a little south of Salt Lake. And this manufacturing facility meets all of the highest quality standards. So it's a GMP compliant, NSF compliant, and FDA registered manufacturing facility. The capacity, they can produce 10 times of what ASEA is currently, the needs are, the demand. So we've got plenty of room for growth, and it's also scalable. They're already looking at properties, and I think they've already acquired the properties next door where they can actually increase the manufacturing and the production even way beyond what we're seeing the potential here. There's 12 distribution centers globally. the IT system is internationally compatible with different languages and different currencies, all those sort of things. So let's just take a snapshot of the markets and where we're at. Now, currently, ASEA is in 27 countries. That's throughout US, Canada, Mexico, throughout Europe, and also Australia and New Zealand. But what's really exciting is where we're headed. And that is currently there's a massive expansion that's being positioned and planned into the Asian markets, Hong Kong, Thailand, Taiwan, Singapore, and the Philippines, just to name a few, and then also into the Latin American countries as well. So lots of exciting potential ahead. And the thing that I love about ASEA is they really do it smart. They don't just jump into a market without being prepared. They really take their time to do it right.
So ASEA is positioned in 3 of the world's biggest industries, the technology is. And to have a look at what those industries are, there's the health and wellness industry, beauty and anti-aging industry, and the athletic performance industry that Bart's already mentioned. Those industries combined produce over $4 trillion every single year. And the industries are all expanding, they're not shrinking, which means we're positioned for amazing growth. ASEA has some of the most unique and advanced products across these 3 industries. So the products are patented. They do what no other products can do because they contain what no other products have, and that is redox signaling molecules. Now, redox signaling molecules, they regulate every single major system in our body. So they're responsible for the regulation of the cardiovascular system, the musculoskeletal, our endocrine system, for example, our respiratory system, and our skin. So these molecules are vital and crucial to life. In fact, we can only live for about 20 minutes if our body is no longer producing these molecules. So that makes these molecules really precious. And the challenge that we have is as we age, we unfortunately produce fewer and fewer of these molecules. So you can see from this diagram, as we get older, we're aging, and a lot of that is because the communication network's broken down at the cellular level, and so aging begins to creep in. So these molecules are fundamental to healing. If you can't fix the cell, you can't get well. And that's the reality of how foundational these products are.
So let's take a look, because really seeing is believing, isn't it? So in the first example that we've got, the lady on the left, her name is Raydun, and she lives in Norway. She actually does live blood cell analysis. So she's had the opportunity to look inside and see what's going on with these molecules in the cell. So when the skincare product called Renew 28 came out, she was one of the first to use this. And it was interesting because she actually didn't think that she was getting very good results until she took the after photo. And this is actually in 3 weeks, and you can see what a profound difference that she's got in her neck and chin area. We've met Raydun and numerous times, and she just looks younger and better all the time. Also, the skin challenges that this young lady's suffering with here, you can see that not only the redness and the irritation, but even the scarring is starting to show major benefits, and again, in just 28 days or less. It's called Renew 28, the product we're talking about, because healthy cells renew themselves every 28 days. The third photo is a lady named Cindy Lou. She lives over in New Zealand, and she had these horrible sores that would come out on her face due to some medication that she had to take, and she was very excited to see how this cleared up. And the experiences that her and her husband have had just for overall wellness has been so profound as well. And then the last one is just, of course, our everyday wrinkles and aging, you might say. So we really have a fantastic anti-aging effect. Now, this is the full skincare line. I've mentioned the Renew 28 on the far right-hand side. And this is the full skincare line. This is, in fact, the most advanced skincare line in the world. It's the only redox signaling skincare system in the world. The 2 products that have the redox signaling molecules is the Renew 28, and then the smaller bottle that you see, the dark blue bottle, is a serum. That's a super concentrated version of these molecules that you would use on, for example, troubled spots or places that you wanted to give a little bit more attention. The other 2 products are pretty simple. The first one is a cleanser. You start off using that one, and then the moisturizer, you finish with that one. Beautiful moisturizer that smells good and has probiotics for the skin. Really good stuff. Let me just share with you a few more examples so that you can see the profound difference. Now, obviously, this photo is the before and afters, a little longer than 28 days. I believe this is 6 months. This young man, his name's PJ, and you can see what a profound difference that this can make. Really can change people's lives. Tyler Norton made a comment. He said, never think that a cosmetic product is about cosmetics. It's about how people feel about themselves. And to make, I mean, that can be a life-changing benefit that you saw with him. Now, keep in mind that these products are not just for the face. Renew 28 is for the whole body. So the aging effects in 28 days on the arm, for example, I think that just blows my mind to see how quickly the benefits in tightening the elasticity of the skin, remarkable. Aging spots on the hand, or even the stretch marks on the abdomen here.
ASEA takes research and development very seriously. They have conducted some independent clinical trials, and these two I'm going to talk about briefly. They were done over a 4-week study. The first one, Stevens and Associate, who are a leading laboratory out of North Carolina, they looked at skin cell renewal and blood flow. Now, skin cell renewal, with it being a 16% increase in the renewal happening, you're actually reversing aging. That's the anti-aging benefit of it. And blood flow is important because it carries nutrients into the body and it carries toxins out of the skin cells, as an example here. So a 50% increase in that, you can see that the body is really working more efficiently in those epidermal or skin cell layers, which is really important. And then Dermatest are a leading dermatological laboratory out of Germany. They conducted a study where it showed a 23% improvement in skin smoothness, a 23% improvement in wrinkle depth, and a 20% improvement in elasticity across the study group. And that earned ASEA their highest level of certification, which is their 5-star guarantee. Now, if there's any toxicity issues at all, companies cannot earn this 5-star seal of approval. So ASEA is one of few companies in the world who have attained that status. They also looked at the Renew Advanced skincare range in its entirety, and they did this study over an 8-week period of time. And you can see there was a 100% improvement in fine lines, 95% in skin smoothness, 85% in radiance, and 92% in photoaging, which is damage from the sun. So the most remarkable part of this study is after 4 weeks, so halfway through the trial period, 90% of the participants said they wanted to purchase the full skincare line. So the results really do speak for themselves.
So overall health and wellness. Now, we showed you some of the before and after photos, and what's interesting is it's pretty easy to make the connection that, hey, if this is what these molecules are doing to the outside, the largest organ of the body, the skin, what is it doing to the inside? And so the health and wellness, the overall health that we see, this is with a product called ASEA. This is the flagship product. And in fact, you see a little tagline that says NFR. Now, in Australia, NFR stands for not for retail. It just simply means that ASEA is seeking a TGA therapeutic goods approval on it. And so we can get that product very easily. You just need to have an account set up, and you get it wholesale through with your own account shipped over from the US. So it's pretty straightforward. So this is cellular health from the inside out. And just to give you a couple of ideas here.
So it's a matter of saying, okay, what happens to our body when we drink the same molecules that are in the skincare line in the Renew Advanced? And ASEA replenishes the very molecules that improve cell renewal that we talked about and help every system of the body to function optimally at every single age. We have people in their 80s and 90s getting phenomenal results in this technology. So amongst so many different testimonials, people report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, and less discomfort.
Now, this is an interesting story. This is Rosie. Now, it's interesting because people know, let's say if you don't feel well, you know it. You know you've got a headache, or you know you're sore, whatever. But when you feel well, you kind of forget how you used to feel. Well, Rosie went into her chiropractor, and he had put her on the product, the ASEA, and he took this before photo. Well, she came in 7 weeks later, and she says, well, I need to cancel my order. This product obviously isn't doing anything for me. And he said, well, let's just take a little snapshot of you, and he put the before and the after photo next, side by side. And this looks like an entirely different person. I mean, just look at, for example, the neck, the difference here, around her eyes, the radiant, she's got much more glow and radiance to her face. So obviously Rosie is still on the product and using it every single day. So, the profound benefits that we're seeing, and the stories are just endless, before and after stories of people that are dealing with some serious challenges that, quite frankly, have given up hope or have been told to go home and get their affairs in order, that all of a sudden, they get on these products, and this enables the body to do what it's meant to do best, which is to help heal itself. So,
and the moral to this story too is, before starting the skincare range, take a before photograph so you can do your own comparison.
That's right. That's right. Because those little differences, day by day by day, we see ourselves, each day in the mirror. We don't really notice those differences, those benefits. Now, let me ask you this: if we could show an athlete how to have a competitive edge, would there be a market for that? Well, the clear answer is absolutely. Athletes will do anything to have a competitive edge. So here are just a few of ASEA's athletes. Cody Miller up here in the upper left-hand corner. He just won 2 medals at this last Olympics, a bronze and a gold medal. The bronze, he actually beat the U.S. record, but which only gave him the bronze medal, and then he went on and also won a gold medal. Gerard Louis Robert, he's 69 years old, 9-time World Masters track champion, and he's still beating guys a third of his age on the track. Bria Larson, she's also a gold medal swimmer. And Eddie Hall, he's set several world records for deadlift, and also he's UK's strongest man, I believe, 7 years in a row. So those are just a few of the phenomenal athletes that we've got. And obviously they use both of these products and the technology. So it's cellular health from the inside out and the outside in. These athletes will use the Renew 28, for example, on their legs, and help with lactic acid that builds up as they're working out, those sort of things, as well as the drink. So profound differences with the athletes. So overall, this is what we're seeing with athletes: athletic performance improvement, endurance, strength, recovery, mental stamina. And in a way, we're all athletes in a certain way. So any active person at any age can benefit from the products. Just if you want to get out and do every day what you do, riding a bike or building a home, if you're in construction, working in the garden, whatever it might be.
So this is the man that's responsible for stabilizing these molecules outside the body. His name is Dr. Gary Samuelson. He's an atomic medical physicist from Utah. He's written this easy to understand book called The Science of Healing Revealed for the layperson to understand what these molecules are about. And this is a quote from him. He said, "The redox signaling process is remarkable because it is the process that allows us to regenerate healthy tissue in the place of unhealthy tissue and maintain our normal function and capacities. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health that we have ever seen." So there has been a lot of research that's been done since 1908, which was when the discovery of these molecules were found. There's over 15,000 peer-reviewed articles and 1,200 books that have been published on redox signaling, and there's been several Nobel Prize winners in this field as well, in the redox signaling field as well. So the product and the technology, the products, which is the technology, they're definitely not on trial. The science is fully validated, and it's also, as we had mentioned in the clinical trials, third-party validated. Now, if you were to look at a bottle of ASEA, you wouldn't know that there's trillions of stabilised redox signaling molecules in the bottle, or in the tube of Renew 28, or in the little redox serum tube. That's why ASEA have partnered with Bioagiletics, who work with 21 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies globally. They're positioned in the Research Triangle in North Carolina. They test every batch of ASEA that's produced every single week to certify the concentration, and they work directly with the manufacturing facility to help maintain quality control. That's why you'll see this seal of approval on every single bottle of ASEA. This is an overview of the validation and where you can go to get more information that's specific about the science of ASEA. So you can look at research studies, safety studies, you can download scientific validation. It's really well done. And this is a post I'm going to give a summary of that was featured in Huffington Post last year, in June last year. And the article was titled 5 Emerging Technologies in Science That Will Shape Our Lives in the Coming Years. So the first first 3 you can see listed, and then number 4 on the list is redox signaling technologies. And it's pretty simple. It's because this is a game changer. This technology is definitely changing the world. And you can see from this slide here the 5th point as well. So this is an amazing article that really helps to validate what we do.
So the business plan, it's kind of interesting. If think back, what were you doing 10 years ago, or even 20 years ago? What was the job that you had, or what was the first job that you had? How would you like to be collecting a paycheck from what you did every week 10 years ago or 20 years ago? That's a pretty cool thought, isn't it? Well, the business model, the business plan that we've got, that's exactly what we do. What you do this month or this week, you get paid for what you do. Next week or in the next month, you get paid for what you did, in that time as well as the previous time, and so on and so forth. So you're actually building something over a period of time that can be a real game changer for creating freedom. The business model is about making referrals. We're not looking, every single one of us, we go to a really good restaurant or we go to a good movie. What do? We talk to people about it, don't we? Last time that I checked, we never collected a check for recommending a movie to anybody or or a restaurant, but that's what this model does. So instead of paying millions of dollars in advertising and so forth, what ASEA does is they pay for that word of mouth referral as we go. So as you introduce context to this, you get paid every time that they purchase ASEA products, month after month, year after year. And as they refer it to other people, the same thing, you get compensated on that business as well. So it is what we call residual income. And as I mentioned, as they refer friends and they refer friends and so on and so forth. The other thing that's pretty cool is we get paid 8 different ways through this compensation plan. So in the industry, ASEA has brought in the very best of the best experts. They've taken meticulous detail in putting together a compensation plan that really rewards people well for their efforts and their energy to share the technology with people and get the word out. They looked at all the various business models, and without question, word of mouth is by far the best way to advertise. And so particularly with a technology like this, it's absolutely ideal. So yeah, and what you're currently doing, are you getting paid 8 different ways? Probably not. On top of the 8 different ways that we get paid, there are some lifestyle rewards, incentives, trips, and things. We've absolutely loved being able to, for example, go to Lanai, Hawaii for a diamond summit. When you achieve certain levels, you really get to hang out with some wonderful people and some beautiful, high-quality places. There's a Bahamas cruise coming up for the people who have earned that incentive, as well as other ASEA premium rewards as well. So very exciting on top of the other ways to get paid. So as we talk about the distribution channel, it's really this simple. So let's say that you recognize the timing, you recognize the opportunity, the business model, and so you share this with somebody, someone that you care about. They're obviously going to share it with someone else, and they share it with other people, and you can see how quickly that this can generate out. Just a fun little story. When I first got involved with this industry, lived in Maui, Hawaii, and I talked with a neighbor, and he had a brother in Florida who talked with his neighbor, and that neighbor talked with another neighbor who talked with somebody in Germany, and we ended up having the largest organization in Europe because of just the distribution channel. And I'm sure you can probably tell from my accent that I'm American, so I didn't know anybody that lived outside the United States at that point in time. So this distribution channel can literally create distribution networks globally for you. In fact, just in the short period of time that we've been in ASEA, even on this call, we've got people from Europe, we've got people in the US that are in our business, in Canada, we've got people New Zealand, all over the place, that are already part of this just from the word of mouth advertisement and how this goes. So it's beautiful to see how you can create a residual income and literally business that is generated for you, income that's generated 24 hours a day, 24/7. So what you do is completely up to you. It is your business. You don't have to punch a time clock. No one gets started in ASEA because they want to have a boss or have someone tell them what to do. The ability to get started is so simple that, quite frankly, a lot of people can take it for granted. To get started is $54. If you're in the U.S., it's $40, just because of the conversion rate difference. What that does is that gets you a position in the compensation plan, and because this is it's a hybrid binary plan, you can really benefit, and you want to take a position as quickly as possible, because that's a piece of real estate, and people sharing this with people who share it with people, as we pointed out on the previous slide, can really benefit you long term. There's multiple discounts on product packages. So ASEA has pulled together some packs, or packages, an entrepreneur pack, for example, a family pack, or a personal pack, just to list out what the three of them are. For people who really want to have some product to use and maybe a little bit to work with, we'd highly recommend kind of the family pack or the entrepreneurial pack, but just that's something that we can get with the person who introduced you, and we can show you some different options on how to do that.
So training with ASEA, this business model, it's extremely simple. It's something anyone can do, and it works. So what we do is we teach you exactly what to do, step by step, and word for word. And all you have to do is follow the simple system. It's the easiest thing that we've ever done.
Absolutely.
ASEA provide world-class support systems and tools. For example, we have a virtual office, which is our own online office that has everything you could imagine in there. And we have our own personal web page as well that includes an online shop that we can direct people to. So in summary, ASEA will become one of the biggest companies within the health, wellness, anti-aging and athletic industries of all time. ASEA is already the biggest and fastest growing company in the redox signalling health space. The products are patented consumables. You cannot find this technology anywhere else. And they significantly improve people's lives, as we've mentioned, and they're used by hundreds of thousands of people every day. Bart mentioned earlier there's over $400 million that's been generated to date, and nearly $90 million from just last year alone. He mentioned that ASEA is positioned to grow to over $1 billion within the next 5 to 7 years. Established across 27 countries and expanding into Asia as we speak. And you are all on this webinar among the very first to know about this breakthrough. We're on track to hit 100 million this year. And historically, when a company hits that mark in the industry, it goes into the momentum phase, and it can grow as much as 20% per month for the next 5 to 7 years. Tens of thousands will have built an asset, providing them the freedom and lifestyle of not having to worry about how to pay their bills. And your reward is a percentage of all the volume in your distribution channel, paid weekly as ongoing residual income.
So what we want to do is just talk really briefly. If you like what you've heard and what you've seen so far, you're going to be blown away at how simple this business model really is, what it takes to do it, and how to build it. It's very, very simple. So let's just take a quick moment. The first thing you want to do is just get your mindset right. First, realize that we're not about convincing anybody to do anything. We're simply looking for people, to identify people who want to do something right now. They want to build an income stream, or if they want to become a customer, that's fine too. There's some people that will just say, that like new things. They like to try something. Gosh, they could have gone to a restaurant, and you say, hey, we want to go to this restaurant. They say, I just went there 2 nights ago, but sure, I'll come and join you. Mm-hmm. Or, hey, we're going to check out this movie. I already saw it, but I'll come with you. I'll do it again. It doesn't matter. People that will just say, yes, I want to do that. People who are open-minded, people that want to have fun, people that want more out of life. There are some people that need some more information. There's some people, it doesn't matter how good an opportunity is, it's just not going to be right, right for them. There are people that just typically say no, and that's okay. So what we want to do is, sometimes we call that the emotional roller coaster. If you think about it, every single one of us, we have days that go great. Could be with your business, it could be with your job or your personal relationships. And just like we have days that go really great, we also happen to have days that don't go so great. And so the important thing is to have the long-term perspective, because when you're building a residual income, a business model like this, you just got to realize that you're going to have some ups and downs, and I would say to get off the emotional roller coaster ride, because if you have a long-term perspective, you really don't worry about the ups and downs. There's some that say yes and some that say no. You just don't want to be emotionally tied to that. We've got a way that we explain that really helps you to deal with that emotional roller coaster, if you will. And we talk about it as the apple philosophy, for example. So red apples, these are the people we already kind of mentioned, the people that say, yeah, I get it, I see it, I want to try it, I want to use those products, and I would love to create some residual income in my life. I would love to create the freedom that comes with that. So those are the people that say yes, red apples. Now, the second kind of group of people are green apples. Now, green apples, they're the ones that have questions. And green apples, sometimes we can refer those people. If you know the answer to the question, that's great. If you don't, the reason we have a really great company, a big company that has all the information there, we can direct people to a website, ASEAglobal.com, and pretty much any of their questions can be answered there as well. There are some people that we can call smart green apples, and they're the people that just want to be right all the time. Doesn't matter what you say, they've got to be smarter than you. And smart green apples, you really don't want to spend a lot of time with smart green apples, because it's just frustrating and it drains your energy. So if you just realize that, hey, there's green apples and there's some that are smart green apples, and you just identify. The third group of people are what we call rotten apples. Now, keep in mind, rotten apples don't mean they're rotten people. It just means that it's no, or at least no for now. In fact, when we first heard about this, I guess you might say that we were even rotten apples, because we said no to begin with, and it was just a matter of timing for us. When we first heard about ASEA and we were moving to Australia and different things, but rotten apples, they can absolutely be a customer. In fact, you always want to invite them to be a customer. And you know what else? Rotten apples may know some people who really need this, but for whatever reason, it's just not right for them to build the residual income. They don't see it, they don't get it for whatever reason. Now, there are also, I'll just mention, there is something else called rotten apples. Now, Melissa and I have experienced rotten apples in our life, and quite often they're disguised as family members, people that want to save you. I've got 5 brothers. I come from a family of 6 boys, and one of my brothers is he's a rotten apple. He just doesn't understand it. He doesn't get it. He's not optimistic on pretty much anything in life. You've had an experience with a rotten apple too, haven't you?
Yeah, I have a brother. When I first started out in the industry, and I was talking with somebody that he worked with, and unbeknownst to me, he had gone to this person and said, "Don't go into business with Melissa, and make sure you don't get on that product." And when I found out, I know that he had my best interest at heart. Couldn't really figure out at the time what that was, but I called him up and let him know where the boundaries were, and were able to move forward with developing a huge business, because we can't let people who love us stop us from pursuing our goals and our career as well, particularly when it's something as big as ASEA, which is absolutely changing lives out there.
That's right. Don't let anybody steal your dreams, because this is a vehicle, I promise you, that can change your life. From the time we've been in this industry, I've never seen anything like it. Now, what you'll also find, so let's take a little analogy here. There are all kinds of people that you'll find. Now, I want you to pretend that there's an apple orchard, big apple orchard, and I just said, hey, for every red apple that you come back with in the next hour, I'm going to give you $100,000. Now, when you go in that, and on your mark, get set, go, how many people are going to run in that apple orchard and start looking at green apples, or picking up the rotten apples that are all smushy and worms crawling out of them, and you try to turn it into a red apple? It's not going to turn into a red apple. You're not going to waste any time with that. You're going to spend all your time looking for red apples. And so it really is as simple as that. We're simply looking for red apples. And what that looks like is we're finding red apples who will help us to find other red apples. And ultimately, what we're looking to do is to create something like this. And the process, when you get clear on what you're looking for, creates so much fun, so much excitement, and the product experiences that you will hear from people having the life-changing benefits is so rewarding and so life-changing. It's fantastic.
Just to let you know that there's some up-and-coming events that are really important. If you're on the line tonight and you're brand new to looking at this technology and this business model, Dr. David Silverman from the United States is coming to Sydney on the 29th of April. I don't, funny enough, have that on there. So there's the link to purchase the tickets, and it's an all-day training event. He's a triple diamond in this business, which is very high up in there in the ranking. He knows what he's talking about, and he features in a lot of ASEA videos because of his credibility and who he is.
He's also on the Medical Advisory Council as well.
Yeah, and we're flying to Sydney from Noosa to make sure that we get there to listen to him. And then Chuck and Tammy Gates, who are ASEA Double Diamonds, who are very high up in the company, they're coming to tour Australia starting May 16 and New Zealand. So they go to New Zealand first. You can see the dates listed there. And they finish up in Sydney on May 27th. So make sure that you speak with the person that invited you on the webinar tonight to get the details of these events. They're phenomenal and a really great way to learn more and to speak to others who've had experiences with the company and the technology.
That's right. You know, if you want to be successful at anything, you learn from the best of the best. And we've got people who are investing in us to come out and share their wisdom, their advice, and a great opportunity to help you to expand and share this with other people as well.
Definitely.
So what you need to do now is very simple. Get together with the person who invited you and let's get started. There is literally a first mover's advantage. The sooner you do it, the better the position that you have, because this is growing right now. It's going to grow very quickly. So don't wait. You know, take some action, get with the person and look at the different packages, how to get started, but most importantly, get a position and get started now. You know, make a list of people. You know, every single person by the age of 18 knows at least 1,000 people on a first name basis. So coming back to that red apple analogy, do you know out of that 1,000 or more people that you know, do you know at least 2 people that are red apples? Of course you do. And everybody does. So what we're looking to do is just to identify some red apples and get into their network, because literally just identifying a few key red apples can, you can generate a $1 million business. And we'd like to thank you as we wrap up for joining us tonight. We're very excited about where we're going with this. We're very excited and passionate about the opportunity, about the business model that ASEA brings to us. And if you like what you've seen, please get any questions answered if you've got some, and let's get started. Thank you again. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Thanks so much, everyone. Hope to meet you all soon.